Recently had a comment on one of my videos that had to do with removing the primer pocket crimp in 223 brass. I was using my lathe and a RCBS deburring tool in order to do that, and somebody left me this comment and I thought I would respond to it. He says, "That does not appear very cool, man. You leave a lot to guesswork, and how do you have any idea that it is removing the crimp all the way down to the bottom of the primer pocket seat? It can't possibly be, since the reaming tool you're using is conical shaped. The swaging tool resizes the pocket all the way down. You may ruin your brass, or worse, have loose-fitting primers, shooting gases, and pressure back into your firing pin mechanism, as well as the rest of your firearm." Well, I don't know about all that. I was going to just make a reply to this comment and decided I would instead make a video and show this person and everybody else out there. Basically, none of this is the case. Brass here, my little holding block. This first one here had the primer crimp removed with the lathe, and you see it looks pretty good. This one here is factory 223, so it didn't have a primer crimp. It really doesn't look much different. And since I made that video, I now have a primer pocket swager, and this one was swaged. Really doesn't look any different either, does it? And here's one of the ones that I have fired out of that exact batch that I made the video on. Seems to look just fine to me. Number one, that crimp doesn't extend all the way down to the bottom of that primer pocket. It's just on the top of it to keep that primer from popping out. Okay, so I could take my calipers, and this primer pocket measures identical to the other two. I can't remember what it was I measured here. I have to put the camera down. Okay, so 171 thousandths is what all three of those measure. Identical. And I've already measured a small rifle primer, and it measures 174 thousandths. So it presses in each one of these three pieces of brass with a 3 thousandths press fit. More than enough to hold that primer in. So, and here's my conical tool. Notice it has a blunt end on it, so it doesn't hit the flash hole, so that isn't a problem. So basically that method is just fine, but I guess I should clarify that I do precision work all the time. So basically every one of the ones I did look just exactly like this one, because that's the type of work that I do. I do this type, not necessarily this work, but I do precision work every day, so I have the feel for it. So maybe this wouldn't be the best method for somebody who sits in an office all day and does paperwork and has difficulty doing this sort of work. So maybe you'd be better off using a primer pocket reamer, which I purchased one anyways, and I found it to be a real pain in the rear end, actually. Every one of these stick, and I got to yank on it to pull it out of the actual swager. But regardless, if you have good mechanical skills, there's no reason why this method won't work just fine. The primer is supported nearly all the way up, just like in the factory ammo. There's a little bit of a chamfer or radius at the top to help the primer start down in, and there is no issue. You're not going to have loose fitting primers, shooting gases, and pressure back into your firing mechanism if you do it correctly. And of course, once you've shot this brass 2 or 3 times, you should measure each one of your primer pockets. And if it starts opening up, well, you should throw it away, because they will do that after a while. But anyways, I just figured I'd do this short little video as a response that this is not any sort of problem.